talk about diet here for a second because it's a pretty important topic. I've certainly focused a lot of time in my life on diet, and so I will share some of the things that I have come across. So, for starters, I choose to share here and now only the things that I focus on. See, for me, diet is the things that I eat, not what I don't eat. I don't need to focus on those things because it's simply not important to me. And so here we're just going to talk about things that perhaps, at least as in my understanding, is a good idea to focus on. And so what is that? I like to say, I like to eat whole, fresh, raw, ripe, organic fruits and vegetables, in season, local, dirt grown. Those are some, that's certainly like a few of them. So like breaking it down, whole foods, a whole food diet is important. I think you want to, like with a lot of things that you eat, they come as a whole package. I know I've had problems when I eat processed things, like if I eat white rice, I get bloated. But it doesn't happen when I eat brown rice. And what else too? So like juicing. I went through some phases of juicing. I don't do it anymore because it removes all the fiber, and it's that fiber that your body uses to regulate the blood sugar and all that kind of stuff. So whole food for sure. If you've ever seen me eat an apple or a pear, I eat the whole thing. I just don't eat the stem. Of course, I don't eat seeds, and I don't eat what do you call it? Skins of mangoes. It's mango season right now, though. Holy smokes, I eat like a few a day, and it feels good. So fresh is important too because I think that this whole thing. So it's like local is the best idea because fruits that are grown around you, they are freshest, and like the nutrients that the tree puts, the finishing touches, they're the most, they contain the most nutrients when they're straight off the vine. Like I like to go picking berries and go straight from the vine into my mouth. Unless I'm paying for them, I do it less. But the lady understands because we're friends. And so fruits, so like fresh is best because it's not just about chemical composition of something. There is something to do with the life energy in the things that you eat. Like there's certainly a difference, even though they're chemically identical between a dead plant and a living one. There is a spark of life. There's a something magical, but there is something living and vibrant within fresh foods. And certainly, things like lettuces, there's like that white stuff in there that when it's fresh, it's like a super antioxidant, but over time that stuff kind of like withers away and dries up, and it's not there, at least not in the same quantity and the same potency. And so that stuff is really good for you. So yeah, definitely fresh foods, raw foods, definitely a healthy amounts of raw foods. And for me, it's fruits. I don't eat a whole lot of vegetables just because they don't appeal to me, and I like fruits. And they lack the carbohydrates and whatnot, and some of them are hard to digest. And I just personally, I feel a lot better when I eat a fruit-based diet, so that is what I do. And raw foods, something that's super important is I do eat some cooked foods, but not too much. Certainly no more than one cooked food meal a day, and not every day. And this is one of the keys to having a lot of energy and feeling light and feeling good and healthy for me. And so ripe food, it's important too. If you're going to eat fruit or yeah, I guess fruit, whatever, that it is ripe, because there are certain compounds that are in some fruits that are not meant to be digested. Things like solanine in tomatoes and in peppers. Green peppers, they are what is it? Green peppers would normally turn color, but they pick them while they're green because they have a natural pesticide in them called solanine. So then you don't have to worry about pests. But then that stuff isn't good for us either. So, and that's why green peppers are so much cheaper than red, yellow, and orange ones. So ripe is a thing. Organic is important too, because chemical fertilizers and pesticides and fungicides and that kind of stuff is not good. It damages the soil, and the soil is like a living component, which is like a part of the whole process of say the plants metabolizing stuff that's in the soil as part of, like, I guess, an ecosystem. So it's important that soil is healthy, and because it's not just about, say, NPK. Like, it's not just chemicals. It is there needs to be like vitamins and nutrients in it. The soil can't be depleted, because then the plants break down the minerals and then put them into a bioavailable form, so that when we eat them, that's healthy for you. And so it's important, and like a lot of conventional produce is grown on in soil that has been overworked, and they use animal feces for fertilizer. Well, if you think about it, animals eat plants, and then their bodies strip all of the nutrients out of it, and then they poop out something that the plants can use and grow big on, but they're like nutritionally void. So you're eating something, as opposed to, say, something like compost, where you throw away the rind, which is actually the most nutritionally dense portion of the thing that you're eating, and then that goes into the soil, and then that is broken down by the microbes, by the bacteria, by the worms and the other things in there that churn it up and turn it into something that the plants can then digest and take up and whatnot. And so, yeah, organic is huge. It's important to not poison yourself and to not poison the plants, and to have all the nutrients there. In season is a thing too, because it just goes with the whole fresh thing. I personally think, though, when I'm here in Canada, I eat as much in-season fruit as possible. So apples and pears and berries and peaches and plums and nectarines. I know trees all over town that I frequent constantly when it's in season, and berries, and like salmon berries and thimbleberries and blueberries and strawberries and raspberries and black raspberries and like different other non-common berries, loganberries and good stuff like that. So as much of that as possible, because it's fresh and it's full of vibrancy and awesomeness. And then so local is good, because the closer it is to you, the better. Dirt grown, for the same reasons, just because if it's, it's not just about chemicals. It's about nutrients and stuff like that. So yeah, vitamins and anyways. So whole food is a thing. Another one of those diets that's kind of interesting is the paleo diet. Now, I don't agree with the premise by any means about like that we kind of evolved from Paleolithic man. So we're talking like caveman until now. This is not the understanding that I work with at all. But the principle is pretty decent, you know, to eat stuff that was available back in the day. And so, you know, I do eat grains a little bit. I might eat rice or quinoa once a week or less. It's just like cooked food. I eat mostly raw food, but sometimes there's something about satiation. It is, you know, even though there are drawbacks to eating cooked food, there's something called leukocytosis where your body produces white blood cells when you ingest cooked food. But I seem to do better when I don't eat only fruits and salad. And I don't even like salad that much, but I'm getting a little more used to it. So yeah, the paleo diet, it's got some interesting things about it. Just eating simple and basic, you know, not and then the 1900 diet is a kind of a funny one. So it's like they say don't eat anything that wasn't commercially available before 1900, and the only thing that sneaks in there is the hot dog. I don't eat hot dogs, but like don't eat hot dogs anyways. You shouldn't. Ew, gross. But yeah, so that's a funny thing. Another component of diet is intermittent fasting. Now, I have practiced this on and off in a variety of forms. It is a technique which you can use to some means. Certainly, if you're trying to get a grasp on your health. Right now, I don't do it. I eat fruit in the morning and I feel good. I just eat when I'm hungry. I listen to my body, and it and like, you know, trying to, I guess, adhere to some kind of a dietary protocol, it just doesn't work for me. For some people's bodies it might, but I don't do that. I like to think of you know, any diet or dietary protocol, it's kind of like driving in the snow or in the fog. It's like you never follow the guy in front of you because you could follow him into a ditch. So, you know, you're aware of what this person is doing. You watch what they're doing, and you do your own thing. You try it out here and there. And to me, that goes with any kind of dietary regime. Raw food, absolutely. For me, fruit, and a lot of it is mono meals. Like say today I ate 4 large Atolfo mangoes. I drive to Surrey to get them. You know, they come thousands of miles to here. I can make the trip of 100 miles to get a couple cases of mangoes because I've been waiting all year for this, or all winter and whatnot. So it is just glorious to have this food back on. And there's another thing too with fruit is that when you eat fruit, it's important that you make a meal out of it. You know, some people just eat like an apple or whatever, or 1 mango, but it's like when you're eating a fruit-based diet, you have a few mangoes, but never stuff yourself. That's important too, because if you do, then it's just like, I don't know, it's like the body doesn't appreciate being stuffed full of food. It takes way longer to process, and it's like, why? It makes you feel heavy and tired. It makes it difficult to digest, to just like eat more than, you know, when the body says no, listen to it. Get in touch with your body, and when it says no, and just stop. It's not like there won't be more food there, right? I actually think that if you overeat, you end up eating less because it takes so long to digest that stuff, because it's just, your stomach is so full, and it's like, it's tiring, and it's, you I used to like overeating, and I just don't know why. I guess it was an experience and it was something that I was going through, but nowadays it's like I like feeling light. Just eat a little bit of something and then stop, and it'll be there if you still want to go back to it, but stop, just a little bit at a time, and then it doesn't impede my yoga practice. I practice calisthenics, and it's like if I got a stomach full of stuff or I'm feeling bloated and I'm feeling tired, I just don't want to do it. And it affects my yoga. I find it difficult to work when I'm loaded full of food. I feel like it's like when your stomach is empty, you're like open to receive. There is something magical about not being constantly full of food, and to actually feel, to hear your stomach growl, and your body releases a hormone called ghrelin, and it does a bunch of things in the body, but it's good to feel hungry and then to eat, and then just to little bits, and and not so much that it affects other things like concentration and your work, and makes you feel tired and all that kind of stuff. So eating minimally. Another one too is minimally processed. So if you are going to cook things, there are certain techniques which are much better than others, which some types of high heat cooking and dry heat cooking they create compounds which are not good for the body. What is it? I can't remember the name of it, but it creates a type of plastic, acrylamide. There's a chemical reaction that takes place between protein, I think it's called asparagine or something like that, and carbohydrates, so like sugars. And this is in basically everything. Everything has a combination of protein and carbohydrates. And then when you cook them on high, it creates a plastic-like compound that I do believe is carcinogenic. So, but when you steam things, because of the moisture content, it doesn't do this, and also boiling. But when you boil stuff, then it leaches nutrients. And steamed. So the thing is, I used to steam stuff, but it's just I don't feel good. When I eat cooked food, when I eat a cooked food, I feel like a cooked food is what I say. I feel tired. I don't feel good. And it's just why? Because what you do today is going to affect your tomorrow. It's going to affect your sleep, how you feel, and definitely when you wake up. I like to wake up after just a few hours of sleep, wide awake, feeling fully refreshed, and then ready to get up and do my day. That's me, and it's taken a considerable amount of time to reach a level of advancement with my practices where I'm able to only eat a couple hundred calories a day and only sleep a few hours a night. But I'm just saying it's what I was looking for. All of the dietary reform, it was worth it in the end. It took about 20 years, and I tell you, it happened kicking and screaming. I didn't do it by choice. My diet suffered, or no, my health suffered, but I fixed it. It fixed me, really. Drinking water is important too, not too much. I drink 1 glass of water in the morning, and I drink some during the day, slowly, not too much. It's just I don't need it. I'm in touch with my body, so that's one. It's a funny thing too. The macrobiotic diet, which is George Oshawa, and you can look it up on the internet, and it'll say all this stuff about how it's a fad diet and just something about quackery and blah blah blah. And it's just the basic principles are eat moderate meals, chew well, eat locally. It's funny, and they're just none of this is going to lead to health. It's Okay. Okay, so you're telling me eating healthy, using common sense isn't going to lead to anything good. Cool. Anyways, thanks, Internet, for that one. Um, only eat when you're hungry is a thing, too. Um, which is, once again, just listen to your body. Don't uh, eat. It's tough when you work because you're in this like system where you like, it's not the best. And sometimes it's like, it's a little bit of joy amidst what's going on. And it's tough to not want to indulge, but it's just like anything, it's a habit, and you can break that habit and fill it with something better, which to me, that's like the way out of all types of addiction, is just to have something better to go to and to get away from some stuff. So what else? I love fruit myself because there are so many varieties. There's like 120 varieties of bananas. I've probably only eaten about a dozen, but I love them. And different types of like sapotes and different types of mangoes, and just, man, there are so many types of fruit. That's why personally I love fruit. It is the thing that it is visually appealing, it's aromatically appealing. It is the taste is there. It has everything in it that your body needs, and everything is super bioavailable, and it has the water that is which is also super bioavailable. They say like the water that comes out of the ground, because it's like H2O, but it's not like it's like a single molecule. They're clusters of molecules, and so the stuff that comes out of the ground is like the molecule groups are like something like 20 molecules. But then when it's in fruit, when it's been brought in through the plant and distilled and blah 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 blah, it's more like 6. So it takes less energy for your body to break it down and utilize that stuff, which is good. And just like the thing with protein, it's like it's in amino acids. If you eat things that are protein or dense proteins, and your body needs to break those things down into respective amino acids so that it can then use them, because you don't build a house out of other little houses. You build a house out of blocks. Or I do tiling. It's like we don't tile a floor with already done tiles, well, except for those mosaic things, but you know what I'm saying. It's like you do it out of the pieces, as that is the way. And so, yeah, what else? And then there's something else about, just about the vibrancy. So when you eat certain foods, what is it? There is like, I guess I already talked about that life force energy, prana, livingness in foods seems to contribute. Vibrancy is super awesome. And the lighter the food that you eat, and the quicker it goes, not quicker it goes through you. No, what is this? When you eat a really awesome diet, it's like your body takes its time, and you don't eat too much. Your body takes its time, and when you're eating just fruits, it like really breaks the stuff down over like the super long, what's it called, intestines and whatnot. And so, and it like, it's just good for you. So what else? Just being aware of certain things. So I like to eat fresh fruit and stuff as much as possible, because when you cut something open, there's oxidization, everything breaks down over time. So it's like the problem with, say, like oils and things like that, is because they're outside of whatever they were in. Say if it's olives, they squish it out, but then it's no longer in a protective environment anymore. And then that oil oxidizes when it comes into contact with oxygen, and then you have something that is not good for your body. And so, do I still use some oils? Yes, I do, because some of the foods that I eat, they just taste better with a little bit of oil on them. But yeah, I think that it's not about being super strict with it. It's just about being aware and understanding that yeah, some foods it's good to focus on certain things and limit other things as well, and just see how you feel. I eat mostly raw food, mostly fruits, and I love tropical stuff, and I'm going to move to Latin America so that I can have an abundance of these things. Yeah, because if you're eating the wrong food, it's like, my dad, when we used to go down to Mexico, there was this thing back in the day, you get this Mexico gas, and it was like very low octane, and the vehicle doesn't run so right. But when you eat the right stuff, you have what you need to perform, and that's super awesome. So yeah, bon appetit, buen provecho, and good appetite, and good eats.